Hello and welcome to the second problem of September long from CodeChef. So let's look at the problem statement. Chef Ada has a matrix with n rows and n columns containing all integers between 1 and n square inclusive. What this means is if you are given a 3 by 3 matrix, this matrix will have all the elements from 1 through 9. If you are given a 4 by 4 matrix, 1 through 16, so on and so forth. Ada wants to sort this matrix in a row major order. What is sorting in a row major order? What that means is, so what does row major order mean? In a row major order, we populate things along the row, and when a row is filled up, we move on to the next row. So we populate things column wise, and then when a row is filled up, we move to the next row. So this is a row major sort. So what the problem is asking us to do is we need to figure out a way to sort this matrix in a row major format. Okay, this is a mathematical representation of that. So how can we do the sorting? In one operation, we choose an integer L and we transpose the sub matrix between row 1 and L and 1 and L column. Okay, so what that means is, what's a transposition? Let's first understand that. So let us say we select L is equal to 3. L is equal to 3. So that means we change the color here. I select this submatrix. Okay. Then I need to do a transposition. What's a transposition? Let me draw the submatrix again here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A transposition means, imagine there is an axis here and I'm flipping the matrix along this axis, creating a mirror image perhaps. So what that would mean is, this 4 will go here, this 2 will go here. Similarly, this 3, it will end up in the bottommost section, and this 7 will go to the top right. Okay, and this 8 will land up here, and this 6 will land up here. So to show things here again, in the main matrix, 1 remains as it is, 6 remains as it is, and 11 remains as it is. Why? Because it is the axis. 5 becomes converted to a 2, and this 2 gets converted to a 5, and this 3 becomes a 9, and 9 becomes 3. This 10 becomes 7, and this 7 becomes 10. So this is what we understand as a transform. Okay. Now, the initial state of the matrix is chosen in such a way that it is possible to sort it using a finite number of operations. Find the smallest number of operations required to sort this matrix. This is a very important constraint, because otherwise it may not be possible to sort it in this format. So I'll give a demonstration and things will be a bit more clear. So what the problem is asking us to do is that, let us say we are given this matrix. We are supposed to select various submatrices. For example, let us select this submatrix, do a flip. So when we do a flip, what happens is that this 2 becomes 5 and this 5 becomes 2. Now let us select this whole submatrix. The whole matrix, let's call it a submatrix, and let's do one more flip. Okay, so now what happens? This 2 goes back here and this 5 comes back here. Okay, but this 3 and this 9 get interchanged. This 4 and this 13 get interchanged. This 7 and this 10, they get interchanged. Are you seeing the pattern? 9, 10, 11. This 12 and this 15 get interchanged. Seeing the pattern? This 8 and this 14, they get interchanged. When the smoke is clear, we realize that we have sorted our matrix. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So how many operations did we take? We first flipped this submatrix, L is equal to 2, and we flipped this submatrix, L is equal to 4. Now we can do maybe 3 operations, maybe 4 operations. Our task is to do the minimum number of operations and accomplish this task. So let us look at the implementation and see how we can do that. Okay, so the implementation is actually very simple. We need to just make a key observation. Let us sort things from outermost portions to inner portions. What that means is, let us take care of this first, then we don't have to worry about it. So then we can look at a smaller matrix. We can look at L is equal to 3. Then let us sort things here. Then we can look at L is equal to 2. Then we can sort things here. Then we can look at L is equal to 1. We don't have to look at L is equal to 1. This is very optimal. Why? Because any operation we do here, it will affect everything. But any operation we do here at this level, at level 2, it won't affect level 3, it won't affect level 4. So we are doing things optimally, and the complexity will be O of n. So let's go ahead and solve our problem. Step 1, let us fix our pointer, bottommost row, rightmost column. Now let us ask a question. Is this sorted? Is 4 greater than 13? No. In a row measure format, this should have been 4 and this should have been 13. So let us do a flip. So let us do a flip and see what happens. When we flip, we realize that 4 ends up here, 13 ends up here. This is fine. Now, given the initial constraints, we can say that this entire column is sorted and this entire row is sorted. Now, let us recursively do the same step for the next sub problem. Let us now look at this submatrix. We don't have to worry about this. This last outermost row, outermost column already sorted. So here, is 9 greater than 3? Is 9 greater than 3? Yes. So this is sorted. This is sorted. So we can simply move our pointer here and continue our process. Is 2 greater than 5? No. Sort by flip. So we will do one more flip here. We will do one more flip here. So the number of transposes will increase by 1. Finally, in the last step, we are having both pointers pointing to 1. We cannot do anything at this stage. If the initial constraints are correct, our answer should have been sorted. So in fact, that is what is happening here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So once both pointers point to the first cell, we have sorted and we have kept account of the transpositions, and that is our answer. So now let's look at the implementation from a code perspective. From a code perspective, we initialize our transpositions to 0 and we will work our way backwards. Okay, now this is a key step. We are not actually doing transpositions, correct? We are trying to avoid simulating things. So what are we doing here? If the number of transpositions, what this means is odd number of transpositions. Very important observation. If the number of transposition is odd, see what happens. Initially, this 2 was in the correct place, 5 was in the correct place. We did one transposition. So we unsorted, we ruined this thing. Correct? So now, technically what is happening is, what used to be first row, second column, and second row, first column has technically become first row, second row, first column, and first row, second column. So there has been a transposition. To record that operation, if there is an odd number of transposition, we need to do a swap before we do any comparison. If there is an even number of transposition, what would have happened is this would have made a movement here and this element would have made a movement here, but this operation would have happened once more to cancel things out. So we just check if there is an odd number or even number of transpositions. If there is an odd number of transpositions, we actually do the transposition. We do a swap. and then we make the comparison. If the comparison is invalid, then that is if this is showing true. In other words, it is unsorted. It needs work. Then we do a transposition. So we'll keep on incrementing the count of transposition. What is our complexity? We will walk through this loop once. So n elements. So it's an O of n implementation. I have attached code to the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. If you found the video useful, please subscribe. I'll be posting more videos. Please subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything. Thank you very much. Yeah, hit the subscribe button now.